Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Jackie and this is Jacqueismaking, a place where I talk all about the knit garments, accessories, and sometimes spinning or sewing projects that I have going on. And today I have for you a normal podcast episode. What I have planned is to talk with you about, I have one really cute little baby cardigan that I have finished for my new niece. Then I have a new project that you all haven't seen yet, and I'm finally knitting with my handspun. And I can't set it down. It's really cool. I can't wait to show that to you. Speaking of spinning, then I have some fun spinning updates, a couple of things on the bobbin, and a new acquisition that I just want to show for you all. And then I don't know if I'm crazy, but I spent a lot of money on this new Smart Iron. These aren't anything new. Lots of people have these. But the amount of money I just spent on an iron for quilting, it's kind of a lot. So we're going to go through that. I haven't even unboxed it yet. So I just want to unbox it with you a little bit. Let's explore. Let's see what it actually does. And yeah, just a little update there on some quilting stuff. So that's everything that we'll be talking about today. For anyone who doesn't know, I'm 34 years old and I live in the northern state of Wisconsin. Here I'm a graphic designer by day, and then at night I just I absolutely cannot wait to finish my day job so that I can finally just make things with my hands. So creating is just my absolute favorite thing on earth. And though I create digitally at work, coming home and just getting to make things with my hands is just the absolute joy of my life. So that's why I love being here and sharing it with all of you. If that's something that you feel like you resonate with, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel because that's what we talk about here. Just reveling in the joy of creating. Before I jump into it, I should tell you what I'm wearing. This sweater, it's just special to me. It's one of the first sweaters that I ever made. This is the Lento sweater, and I knit it holding two strands together. One is aroma fennel yarn, and another is actually a Surrey. I dyed myself. I went to this hand dyeing yarn class, and we got to dye, maybe it was 3 or 4 skeins of yarn. And so I picked 2 skeins of Surrey alpaca, and I was kind of trying to make it look a little bit more fall in my color palette, kind of like leaves. And I do think it kind of looks like that. But I also think it very much so looks happy, Skittles, green, it feels just very spring, new life to me. And so I love wearing this one Easter time, springtime. Yeah. And it's just special to me. The whole day I wore this for Easter, and the whole time I was wearing it, just kept looking at it and being oh my gosh, the memories flood back sometimes when you wear your old knits. And just remembering how much this meant to me because it was one of my first knits. It felt like such a big accomplishment. It was so cool that I had dyed this yarn myself, that sort of thing. So yeah. I'm sure you guys have some projects like that too. It feels special, feels cool. This sweater, if you haven't made one before, it's so fun because it's a little bit of a bigger gauge, goes really fast. It's a raglan, and is just a really, really speedy knit. I think it's knit either on a US 9 or a US 10 needle. So it goes by really fast, super enjoyable. If you're within this knitting world, you've probably made it before. So to begin, like I mentioned, that really, really cute baby cardigan. I'm gifting this to my sister tomorrow. I'm going to be welcoming a new baby niece sometime in June, I believe. And this morning I finally just finished sewing on the buttons. So it's finally complete here. If you saw my last podcast episode, you may have seen there's a little bit of a debacle with this. I actually ended up knitting it twice. So this is really the second time that I have knit this little baby cardigan, but it's effortless. And by that I mean it was a joy. This essentially took me 3 days to knit, and so it's so fast. It was all encompassing and just joyful. So I like, you know, even though I had to knit it twice, no complaints there. It was totally fine, and the error was completely mine. So no complaints on the pattern there. Yeah, this is like kind of your standard little raglan cardigan here. It has a really cute sort of broken rib 3x1 on the bottom, and it's a little bit longer, so it's almost kind of like a little bit more of a dressy cardigan, I would say. And I knit this up in Cascade 220. This is their superwash line, and it's one of their heathered colors that I think is so beautiful. I love when colors heather like this. It's just so enjoyable to the eye. And this one in particular is like a purple, blue, magenta sort of shift. So I really, really love it. Yeah, let me show you the back. Look at this. It's just so darling. So this is the cardigan. I talked a lot of the construction last time. The only thing I switched this second time around when I knit it is I subbed out all of the garter for ribbing. It was very easy to sub out. And then I added some really cute little flower buttons here. These are buttons that I purchased on Amazon, so I'll have to link them for you down below. It came with so many. More than I could ever need. So if any of my friends in the area see this and you need a pink little kind of iridescent flower button, let me know. I'm your girl. I have like 100 of them. So yeah, these, I used a 12.5 millimeter button for this, and I just used 3. The pattern specified you could either use like make buttonholes for 3, or you could do it all the way down, but I kind of liked the cute little look it gave to just have the 3 up top and then have the bottom be a little bit more flowy. And I just picture this on a little baby with like a really cute little, I was picturing like with a little lavender legging or something would be so, so sweet. So yeah, so I added these buttons here. And for adding them, I used this King Tut quilting thread. And I was looking over on my threads over here and just thinking about, you know, what would be cute with purple and also be cute with the pink. And this colorway, let's see if it has it on here, is the colorway 922. This is a 40 weight 3-ply cotton thread, and it's like so cool. It kind of goes, it's like very lemonade looking. It kind of goes between a goldy like sunshine yellow to a pink, and then maybe to a more like lavender mid-tone purple here. So yeah, I saw that sitting over here, and I used this in a project at some time, maybe for some top stitching. It's cool in a top stitching because it's almost like a variegated thread, right? It's like color changing through the top of the fabric. And so I saw that and I was like, oh, you know, that might be kind of cute. And it is. Like once you're looking a little bit closer at these buttons, you can just see a little bit of that color changing thread. And then my favorite part on the back here, I found these really cute Sarah Hart's sew-in labels. I bought 3 of them. I actually have them here. One are these ones that say made by Auntie. So that's the one I put in here. And then a couple other packs that I picked up were, this says handmade with love. This is more so like a quilt label. It says handmade with love. There's a section for buy, for, the date, and then it says wash cold, dry low, enjoy for years. I thought that was so cute. So I actually ended up putting one of these on that quilt I showed you I made for her last week. And also on Sarah Hart's. I bought all of these on sarahharts.com, plus some really cute stickers. They have really cute stickers there. On that website, she also sells this Pentel. This is a gel roller for fabric. So I bought this because I can write on those labels and it won't wash out. So it's always going to say that it's from Aunt Jackie on it, and it won't wash out no matter how many times she washes it. So kind of a cool pen. I didn't have this, just nice to have in my arsenal. So yeah, those two. And then lastly, I bought these little made in 2026 as well. I thought this was something that was cute, that maybe I would sew into the back of my hand knit garments. Sometimes, as you may know, you're like picking up something, you're barely awake, and you're like, which way's the back? Which way's the back? So I thought it would be cute to not only like when I'm picking up something, just like remembering the year that I made it in, but then also, yeah, knowing which way is the back. So those are some labels, and the one I put in here is the Made by Auntie, and I use that same King Tut thread to just hand sew it on, and I kind of made it just like look a little bit, it's like cute, like the big stitches, like that handmade sort of look, and I think it's just really whimsical and special. So yeah, that's everything with this little cardigan here. I'm excited to gift this to my sister tomorrow. And this was like my very first ever time making a baby knit. So I was glad that, you know, had some trials and tribulations from last week, but also glad that I really did have a pretty enjoyable experience and that it went so quick, because now I feel encouraged when other people in my life are having children that I can make it for them, and it's not you know, it's not too big of a task, but it's still something that's enjoyable. And with these little details, like picking out really cute little buttons or a really cute little tag, it feels like an extra special, just like fun step that for me, I don't get as much joy out of as like buying something from the store. Now, that being said, I think people spend so much time on registries, and so maybe they don't always want, you know, handmade things, but this is my sister, okay? So I think I'm totally good here, and she will love this little cardigan. But I'm very excited to make some more things, like maybe I'll make her another thing for like Christmas or for winter. I was even thinking it's just a nice palette cleanser. It feels good to complete like a finished object and have it be beautiful. So yeah, I recommend this pattern. I think it's gorgeous switching to the ribbing, but otherwise, like, it was also so cute with the garter, so that's fine too. And lastly, too, looking at these sleeves now, I did want to tell you I did knit these in the round. In the pattern, it recommends to seam them. I had some issue with that my first time around, so I ended up just knitting it magic loop in the round, and it went seamlessly great, just as it would for a normal adult sweater. So that's everything with that little baby cardigan. Ooh, the next one I'm so excited about because it's my first time knitting with my handspun. I'm actually a very beginner, still new spinner. This is the second skein of yarn I've ever made, and so I'm kind of jumping the gun here a little bit. Some people wait a little bit longer before they would actually start knitting with it, but I just kept seeing it on my shelf. This was like a culmination of a couple of things. I kept seeing this skein on my shelf, and I kept looking at it and just wondering, you know, hey, like, I should probably knit with this to see if my handspun is okay. Sometimes with handspun, it can be like way underspun, or and so it like pulls apart, or it can be overspun and so it's like too rigid. And so I had this idea of like maybe a good quality control would just be to just knit with it and just start knitting with it. And so that was kind of in the back of my mind. And then my friend Kylie had cast on a Grid Gambit cowl, and hers just looked so beautiful and it looked so fun. And I've knit a couple of cowls now, and I love knitting these, like they're more pointed, like almost the handkerchief style cowl. I love wearing them. I wear both the ones that I've made so often, so I knew this was a pattern I would enjoy and that I would like to make. I've also really wanted to try out this designer. I've never knit with her patterns before. So yeah, that was a little bit of my thought process. And so initially when I had went to Ewetopia we dropped off our fleeces for it to get made into yarn, and we went shopping at the Ewetopia store, and I had picked out this light blue that I thought would be a really good contrast with this for the Grid Gambit. But then when I went to actually go cast it on, I was worried that it wasn't gonna let the handspun shine and that it was gonna be a little bit too like competing and a little bit too bright. And I just really wanted, like, this is the first time I'm knitting with my handspun. I really wanted it to shine. So I have my handspun here. This is Yarn Jam Shanico wool. This is in the colorway Starlit Forge. This was a collaboration with Stitches and Starlight, and absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. It's like kind of a purple magenta shift into some really dark teal and orange. There's like orange flecks throughout it as well. So gorgeous, but very moody, very dark. And so I knew I wanted a light color to pair with it. And I'm currently still knitting on my loon sweater. I'm not going to be showing that to you today, but just know it's still in progress. She's still kicking. She'll be coming soon. And the contrast color for my loon sweater is this Harrisville Daylights yarn. And I had only used this for the white parts, the little loon color work on the sweater. So I had a fair amount of this left. And I was holding it up and I was like, you know what? I love the texture of this Harrisville Daylights. I know Andrea Mowry has used Daylights in some of her cowls because I think it's just like a hardy yarn, and I felt like it would really hold its shape really well in a cowl. And so I went and got my kitchen scale, and I was like, please let there be enough. Please let there be enough. And I measured it out, and it was only at 65 grams. So that worried me a little bit because when you look at the pattern, it looks like you're going to use majority of that main color. But Ravelry is a wonderful, wonderful place to be sometimes, and I looked and found that a couple people had used Daylights as well, and they had so kindly updated like how much of the skein they had used. And the couple people that had used Daylights had used more like 73 grams to 75 grams. So I was able to kind of calculate out and figure out, okay, I think I can still make this. I'm essentially gonna start my decreases a little bit earlier and kind of figure out a little bit of that, and just know, I think in total, my circumference of my cowl around my neck might be 1 inch less based off what I've done here. But I don't think I'm gonna be playing yarn chicken because I'm doing that. So we'll see how that ends out. Sometimes these little games we play don't, but sometimes they do. So I'm hopeful. I'm still doing good. I keep kind of weighing and checking, and I'm definitely still on track with kind of my plans here. So I'm excited about that. And I better show you this, right? Oh my goodness. The second I cast this on, I believe I cast this on Easter or the day before. It was the night before Easter. This is all I've worked on this week, honestly. It's this and spinning. Of course, I'm in the middle of a row, typical Jackie fashion here. But I cast it on and it was just like, oh my goodness. So fun to knit with my handspun. So cool to know I separated out this braid to make a 3-ply fractal spin. And I was so worried the whole time, like, oh my goodness, did I do this right? Is it gonna color change correctly? Is it just gonna be super muddy? No, let me tell you, I did it correctly. The color changes are so cool. Oh my gosh. Like, this has just like lit my little heart on fire for spinning. I want to make every single project now with like some sort of handspun woven into it because it just adds a whole other layer of, hey, I did that part, you know? And those are obviously like just my favorite parts about this. So you can see here, we started at the bottom and yeah, just right away, you're kind of getting into the pattern repeat. And so I was learning the pattern and kind of starting out here. And this is, it's really cool. It's knit with just, you're doing some garter, then you're also doing some stockinette, and then there are places where you're slipping stitches. So that's kind of what you're doing. And then the pattern repeat is super memorizable. And you're pretty much only needing to, like, once you're getting to a certain point, you might count your stitches and then be like, oh, this is where I am in the pattern. But I have found it to be like super kind of hands-free from the pattern, and you're really able to just kind of read your knitting and understand where you're at and where you're going, which couldn't ask for more. My favorite kind of patterns. And it's such a cool design. The other great thing about this pattern is that she supplies both a chart and the handwritten instructions. I always very much so appreciate that, depending on what kind of learner you are or how you like to knit. But yeah, this is, I would say the shape is very similar if you've knit an Andrea Mowry, sort of bandana style cowl. I apologize. I'm assuming she's maybe not the one that created this style. She's just the one that I have knit from in the past with this style. But yeah, it's that same sort of shape where you're at the end going to be seaming up kind of these squared off edges, and then the cowl will come to a front at the bottom here. So yeah, I'm close actually. I am on my decreases now, and then once I finish the decreases, I'll be ready to bind off, then block, then sew up. So I'm actually really hopeful I'll be able to wear this in next week's podcast for you all. The only thing with this is, like, it's finally, I might need to knock on wood, but it's finally warming up here in Wisconsin. It's really been dragging its feet. It's still been cold. I've still been wearing sweaters all week, but we've been having, like, you know, it's starting to get into the 60s. And so yeah, this won't get a ton of wear now through this season, but it's still been, I mean, who cares? It's been so fun to knit. Maybe it's something I'll wear in the mornings and then take off once I get to work, just like to get to wear it a little bit. But yeah, it's like, oh my goodness, just like I mentioned, ignited this fire within me. Can't wait to knit with more handspun. Because of that, I've been thinking I kind of want to make a video about, I was first thinking maybe it would be all about like things to make with that one special skein you have. Like maybe you have one special skein of handspun or spin cycle, junction fiber mill, Ewetopia. They make all these really cool color changing yarns, and just maybe like coming up with some patterns to showcase for you all. But there's not a ton that you can do with one skein. There is, but I was thinking maybe like one half of the video will just be a one skein. Maybe the other half will be, if you have some more, these are some cool, maybe colorwork yoke sweaters, some other ways to incorporate it, that sort of thing. So yeah, I'm just thinking through that. And by saying that, I'm asking if you have any favorites that you've made with a favorite special skein. I'd love to hear it, because I'd love to share with everyone else. All right, so speaking of spinning, I have still just like been having so much fun, and a big reason for that is honestly because of that cowl. It's just like ignited something within me. So what I have here is one finished bobbin. This is, I showed you this. I purchased this at Illinois Fiber Festival. This was just like a gorgeous braid, Renee's Revolutions and Fibers, I believe it's called. And this is a Corriedale wool in the colorway Van Gogh Sunflowers. I think the color was so perfectly executed. I definitely kept thinking of this painting when I was spinning with this. And oh my goodness, spinning with Corriedale, a dream. Feels so effortless. It's so easy. Oh my goodness. It was just like such a dream. So with this one, Actually, I'll talk to you about that in 1 second. I have things to talk with you about because that is gonna stay in bobbin form for a little bit because I really want it to be a 2-ply, and I've always dreamed that that would be color work in maybe like a darker colored sweater. So the color of the sweater would maybe be like a brown or a navy, or just think more of a darker hue of a sweater, and then it would have this really pretty kind of light hand spun in the color work. But I have a decision to make for what to make the second ply. So I'll show you those in a second. But the other thing I wanted to show you is I have been working with Hedgehog Fibres to showcase some of their beautiful fiber that they have. So you may know Hedgehog Fibres. They're based out of Cork, Ireland, and they have the coolest hand-dyed yarn. I mean, the coolest. If you've seen it, I love to look at it when I go to Wool & Company in Elgin, Illinois, but also just looking at their website, the coolest colorways. I mean, just color explosion, like brings just so much happiness to your brain. So yeah, they've so kindly gifted me a couple of bags of fiber, and so I've just been enjoying working with these really cool colors and also some unique fiber combinations. So here is one of my finished bobbins here. It's so cool. So many cool colors within this here. I am just making one skein out of this bag of fiber that I received because it's such a unique fiber markup. I'll set this here for you. This is 40% merino, 20% camel, 20% alpaca, 20% cashmere. Whoa, so cool. I was so nervous to start spinning with it because I've never spun with something so soft. I mean, oh my goodness, it feels like silk. So I kind of had to slow myself down a little bit. I also had to go a little bit easier on myself, know that this might be a lot thicker of a yarn, but just kind of letting the fiber almost behave how it wants to behave has been helping me a lot with this one. And I've just, oh my goodness, been enjoying it so much. One, because this is allowing me to really work with some really cool variegated colors. But then it's like spinning up and it's not variegated once you spin it, right? It's like kind of a solid color once you're spinning it. It's so cool. It's just, you're like, the coolest thing about spinning so far is when I get this fiber, I have no idea what it's gonna look like once it's spun up. So, oh my gosh, that's just like such a cool feature of it. But yeah, so I just have a little bit left, like just maybe half of this other bobbin that I have, and then I'll be making this into a skein. I'll just be doing it as a 2-ply. The other bag that they sent me here, this is a potluck bag. So a lot of what Hedgehog Fibres spins are these potluck colorways here, and this one is a BFL, and I believe it's 90% BFL, 10% mohair. And this is gorgeous too. And this one, let me show you the back here so you can see it a little bit better. This one is, I would say a little bit more of like a highlighter green, like almost like verging into like tennis ball green, but it has a little bit of oranges, pinks, and then some whites, and maybe a tiny bit of gray mixed within it as well. I love how you can see the little crimp in here. Oh my goodness, it's so adorable. But the whole time I was spinning this, I was originally thinking that I would do one bobbin of this and then this. This would be my combo spin here. It would almost be like sherbet-esque, right? With this and this. But that was before I received this. And now I'm wondering, do I just make it like super green, super fun and have that be the color work? And then, you know, I'll use this sort of more orangey colorway for something different. I'm kind of leaning towards that. Honestly, I might fully spin this onto a bobbin, hold them next to each other, and really see what I think the vibes are. I think that's going to be the course of action which I have to do before I would actually put them together. And just really ensure that that's something that I want to see. Also noting that with these two, this isn't really going to have a ton, I believe, of like a color change sort of aspect. Like this isn't sort of spun in that way. It's really just going to be kind of a random change of colors and just like an amalgamation of these two. So I have to decide between that or these two together. I do think the contrast would be strongest if I keep just the greens together because they both have a lot of that lightness versus I think this might bring in some dark elements to it. So this one, by the way, is Renee's Revolutions, hand spinning and dyed fibers. This one doesn't have a colorway, but it is BFL as well. So both BFL. Lots of decisions to be made there. And I think if I spin up the green Hedgehog Fibres and then I hold them side by side, and if I'm not 100% sure, I think I'll do the orange one and then we'll compare all three. We'll see how I'm feeling, but that's kind of how I'm feeling so far. Next we have something kind of crazy because I finally spent $200 on this iron. Is that crazy? I don't know. This is the Oliso Smart Iron. If you are in the quilting world, this is a very popular iron. I even have the little mini one for piecing. You may have seen it in my videos before. I love the little one. I use it all the time on my little wool mat. It's wonderful for piecing just because it's so little, and I feel like it's nice just for your little pieces to get in all the nooks and crannies and that sort of thing. But I've always just used like a cheaper Amazon iron for some of my bigger fabric, but I've dropped it on the floor one too many times, many a times, and the other time I've tried plugging it in the past 3 times and she's a goner. She's done. She will no longer heat up. And so I was like, you know what? Is it finally time that I just try this iron? I just give it a go. And I thought, yes, I've wanted this for so long. The reason being, like the reason why it's smart is because when you have it down, when it's not in use, it lifts up. So you don't have to constantly be like having wrist strain by putting the iron up and down, which, you know, it's not that huge of a deal, but when you're quilting, you're doing it quite a bit. Now, I've never had like wrist pain or anything. The issue with mine that I hate is that it's constantly like when I'm putting it up, it's every like 30 seconds. If it's not being used for 30 seconds, it starts beeping and then it turns off on its own. And it's just kind of a nuisance to like manage it while I'm working on a project. And I like that this one is actually made for quilting. So hopefully it doesn't have some of those nuances. But I purchased the yellow one. I thought it would just look cute with some of my other stuff. I do have pink in the little one, but I also just liked this yellow. So it comes here with a little user manual. Something I think is really funny about this packaging as someone who works in marketing is they've kind of like personified this item. On it, it uses like I language. It says, I am updated with features for durability and performance. I am designed for safety and stability. I am created with ergonomic design. It's kind of cringe. Instead of saying it is, you know, whatever the iron is, no, they decided to use I. So apparently this has a diamond ceramic flow sole plate, I-touch continuous steam system, which I won't use, by the way. Fun fact about me, I will never put water in my irons. They last longer, and it's just a quilting thing. In the quilting world, a lot of quilters don't do it because sometimes it can go bad. And then like leave marks on your fabric, blah, blah, blah. So I end up just using a spray bottle for water if I need water. Let's see if there's anything else in here that I can tell you. Has a 12-foot long cord, has smart setter, so it automatically shuts off after 30 minutes. So if I don't use it for 30 minutes. And then the ergonomic design is it always stays on its feet and it never ever needs to sit upright. So I'm hoping that helps with me tipping it over, because the only time it tips over is because it's upright and it's kind of like moving all over the place. So let's see here. Oh, interesting. If you touch the handle, it gets to work. Let go of the handle and it lifts itself up so that you don't have to. That's kind of like my biggest thing that I'm excited about. It's kind of big, honestly. It feels kind of heavy to me. Just holding it here, this feels heavy to me. It's interesting. Like, I kind of pictured it being a little bit lighter. Okay, and looks like I can go between synthetic, wool and silk, linen, and cotton. I almost always just keep it on the hottest for cotton. You know what I'll do is I am going to read this little manual here. I'm going to use it this weekend. Maybe I'll even finish some of my star blocks that I have. I'm so close to finishing these star blocks. And then I'll put up a little like review on the screen, or maybe I'll just pop in for you all to let you know how it was going. Cause yeah, first impression, it's gorgeous. It looks like it's really well designed. I'm a little bit worried that it feels so heavy, but I'm also kind of excited for the heaviness because that's a really nice feature to like kind of press down on my fabric. So we'll see how I feel about that. And then yeah, that'll enable me to show you some of those really cute sawtooth blocks that I have for the quilt that I am making as well. I am, yeah, like I mentioned, like very close to finishing those month 2 blocks for my quilt, and then month 3 is in the mail. So I should be getting that soon and getting to work on that. I'm really hoping, like, my goal for the next month is to finish my month 3 blocks faster. So then that way I can continue working on my other knitted blooms little quilt, because I really want to have a new backdrop for you all. That's why I got started on that one. And so I'm kind of just like anxious to finish that, but I keep not working on it because I'm working on my big homespun quilt. So that's my goal for myself, is just to do it a little bit more. My only thing with my quilting setup is my back hurts every single time I sew. It's an issue with the height of my table, the height of my chair. I feel like I can't get my table low enough, and maybe I don't have the right chair. So I don't know if it's whether I need an actual sewing table, like what I need to do, but it's bad enough that like whenever I sew for long periods of time, I know I can't sew for a couple more days because of how much strain it puts on me. So something I need to look into, because I think I would do so much more sewing if I didn't hurt myself every time, you know, obviously. Okay. I think that's all that I have for you all today. I'm hoping within the next week, kind of finish out that Grid Gambit. I have one more sleeve to go on my loon sweater, so I'm trying to keep that top of mind, finish that out. I would really, really love to finish that before I cast on a spring garment, but I'm really, I'm excited about making like a prospect tee, and so, yeah, we'll see. Do I finish that one or do I cast on the tee first? It's always a mystery with what's going to make me happy or what I decide to do. Again, thank you all for being here today. I love getting to share what I'm making with you all, and just getting to have this space and community on YouTube. I love watching knitting podcasts. It's so joyful for me. So I hope that I was able to kind of give back and give you some of that joy as well. I hope you all have a great rest of your week, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye-bye.